Now let me get everything set up. Sound. Microphone and everything sound. Give Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope an opportunity to build the audience.
I'm lying on the mill, that's the truth. Spent $5,000 on some shoes. That's what you call stunting.
And we'll attempt to go live on Instagram as well. So let me get Instagram started, booted up.
I'm the richest nigga in my hood. 10 chains on me, smoking Cali good. Private plane luggage never necessary. I can take you where they never could. That super fly shit is mandatory.
Hello, Instagram. Y'all are coming in on Instagram. Yeah, I wanted to try to do all 4 of my platforms, so just excuse me. I have my respect my shift shirt on, so you all say hello. Make sure you share on IG as well, and everyone coming in on YouTube. Good evening to you, Dietrich. Hello to you.
Big gang billionaires, nigga. I believe dreams come true. And I done seen dreams come true. Billy truck by the
YouTube, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. I'm taking my earpieces out, my AirPods. Instagram, let me know if you all can hear me well. Give me some heart, show me some digital love. When this song ends, I will get into the topic. I think everything is connected for my IG as well. Let me check this. Okay, I got my mic volume up. Let me know if you all can hear me well. Instagram. And I don't have my title in, so Instagram. The title is, or the topic for this live stream is why credit cards are replacing cash, right? Why credit cards are replacing cash, and why Goldman Sachs, right, and Citigroup says to dump the dollar, right? To dump the dollar. So Instagram, if you want to join me on my YouTube, I will have a lot of articles you will be able to see. The articles in the backdrop or the background on Instagram. So if you want to join me on Instagram, do so. I'm Queen of Credit on YouTube. And the articles I'm about to share, right? Shantae says, whenever I seen that notification, I click so fast. Knowledge is power. Thank you, Shantae. Thank you for tuning in, and you are absolutely correct. Knowledge is power, right? We're going to talk about a lot of things. I really contemplated whether I was going to go live and discuss this topic because it takes a bit of background knowledge about the dollar, about currency. I'm going to share some things with you all specifically, right, as the 5 minutes of fame is up, specifically about credit and cash, right, and why credit cards are replacing cash in circulation, right? So let me dive into this, and I know my audience is still building. They may miss this, as at the end of the video, but hopefully you all don't just watch the live stream. You go back and replay these videos at least 2 or 3 times, whether you're working out, whether you're driving, making groceries, whatever you're doing, right, in your leisure. You need to listen to this information more than one time, 2 or 3 times, because you're not taught this information in school, right? And so you have to really get a thorough understanding of what I'm sharing with you and how this is going to impact 2021, right? Or what many people call the Great Depression, right? 2.0, right? the Great Depression 2.0. So I have 4 platforms in. If you all comment, I will try to respond to them as I stay on topic as much as I can. Periscope says, hello for those in the Periscope world who are joining in as well. I'm cashing out of stock market and purchasing hard assets, right? I would not say that's a bad decision, right? I think that's a good decision. I actually cashed out of a lot of my stocks today and converted it over to crypto, right? Converted over to crypto. And so hard assets, the only thing I am, I'm not a financial advisor. I tell everyone, credit consultant, but also a cash flow focused minded person as well, right? And for those who are new to my live stream, because I am on Instagram, I am known in the credit world as the queen of credit because I help people transform their personal credit from bad to good, right? And then from good to great, and help you revision your credit so you can use credit to invest and have a life of cash flow coming in, because we know cash flow is king and credit is queen. Why is credit queen? Well, in this financial game, right, you need to use or leverage or collateralize your personal credit, whether you're trying to get business credit, whether you're trying to get assets. What are assets, right? Assets are things that increase in value, right? Liabilities are things that depreciate in value, right? Thank you for the thumbs up on Instagram. So want to use your credit to create more cash flow and to get more assets in your life. And the reason why cash flow is king, because any true cash flowing opportunity is an asset, right? Any true cash flowing opportunity is an asset. Now, there's a lot of things I want you all to remember on this live stream as I break this down. But this is what I want you to really understand and remember, right? That when you swipe your credit card, right? When you use, right, or swipe your credit card, the merchant, check this out now, the merchant cannot determine, right, if that transaction happened with cash or a credit. It cannot tell the difference. The merchant cannot tell the difference, right? And so in order to create currency, now I'm using the word currency, right? Currency also can translate to cash or mean cash, right? I'm not using money by design. Currency, cash, and money are two different things. So in order to create a currency, because whenever you use that card for a transaction, again, the banks cannot determine whether, or the merchant rather, will not determine or cannot determine if that transaction was made with actually cash or credit. Because believe it or not, cash, your paper dollars, and credit cards, which is plastic, this is paper or cotton, credit cards are plastic. Both of them are the same, right? In essence, I know Dave Ramsey taught you something different, but both are created out of nothing, out of thin air. Well, I take that back. Cash is created 75% out of cotton, right? Plastic, however, or the currency exchange or transaction is created by putting numbers in, right? Now, however, both of them are backed by nothing, right? Cash and credit cards. Both of them are backed by nothing. So just stay with me because I have to build the foundation. If you don't know where I'm going, just stay with me, right? Both of them are built or backed, right? Are connected to nothing. It's like they're created. Credit is created out of entering numbers out of thin air. Cash is created through a printing press, 75% of cotton, but it's backed by nothing, right? And so the merchant cannot tell the difference. And so when you have unpaid credit card balances, right, that's cash in circulation, right? The only time that is not looked at as cash in circulation is when you use paper cash to pay that credit card debt, right? And this is why I inform people that credit card debt is unsecured debt, right? Meaning that it has no collateral attached to it. You can't get repossession on it. It's very little consequences, although sometimes it may be consequences, but it's very little consequences if you don't repay or pay it back, or ramifications, right? And so it's looked at as balances as cash as in circulation, right? And so that's why when Dave Ramsey give you the advice to pay for everything in cash, that's not necessarily smart, right? Because when you do that, you are being taxed, right? If you are an employee, you are being taxed in the highest tax bracket, right? It's different tax laws for different types of people, right? Entrepreneurs have lower tax laws than employees, or I mean they pay less in taxes, right? This is why Warren Buffett says that percentage-wise, he pays less taxes than his secretary, percentage-wise, right? He pays less taxes than his secretary. And so do anything. That's why it's unsecured debt, right? Uncollateralized. That's why you can put credit card debt in Chapter 7 bankruptcy, right? This is why you can sometimes negotiate with the bank when you cannot repay that credit card off in full, and you can negotiate to pay a third of less than what you borrow, or what you ran the balance up for, because you didn't really borrow anything. Again, they don't loan you any money, but they do have the audacity to charge you interest really on money that they never loaned you in the first place, right? And that's the true reason why credit card is unsecured, because they never really gave you any exchange or asset. Again, credit card debts and balances of transactions are created out of thin air by entering numbers into the system. And so that's why also you can pay back a third. So you can negotiate, say, look, I can't pay this full balance off. Or sometimes the bank will just send you a 1099-C in the mail when you have not paid the balance off in full, and it goes into charge-off status, right? And you have to, or supposed to legally by law, claim that as taxable income once they send you a 1099-C in the mail. But if you have a good tax strategist that can help you out of that situation, then there's ways legally that may not be taxable income as well, right? So you will hope that you don't have a Bank of America or Amex, right? Some of these bigger businesses or banks will take you to court for unpaid credit card balances, right? They will take you to court. Some will just sell the unpaid balances to a debt collector, right? And then again, some will just offer an agreement to settle with you, right? Even if you get a subpoena to court, you can call and negotiate sometimes to pay them less than what you actually ran the balance up for, right? And so I'm giving you this background because I'm letting you know where our economy is headed into 2021. And so now that you know that credit cards and cash pretty much operate the same way, let me give you a background of cash, right? Cash, currency, fiat currency, et cetera, and the dollar, and why many countries have already dumped the dollar. Again, on Instagram, and how you can use your credit to get true assets, right? And not be hustling backwards and chasing the dollar, right? Hustling backwards and chasing the dollar. And so, again, I always like to refer to Jay-Z's song, the story of OJ, when he says, since I am on Instagram Live, that you're on the ground holding money to your ear, there's a disconnect. We don't call it money over here, right? cash should never become money. And I'm going to tell you why in a few minutes. And I'm also going to explain why people need to stop using their credits to purchase liabilities, like brand new cars, right? You buy on Monday, you try to take it back a week later, you've lost thousands of dollars. Brand new vehicles are depreciating assets. You should use your credit for more than it, right? Even if you're purchasing a home, you want to be a home buyer. I get it, right? You want to get out of that box, right? That's boxing you in an apartment, right? You got people on top of you, people on the bottom. People can be on both sides, right? And you want more spacing or freedom in a home buyer. That's fine. However, both renting and being a home buyer does two things, right? It takes money out of your pocket. So both of those are considered liabilities, right? So if you're a landlord and you're renting to someone who needs housing, that puts money into your pocket. So that's an asset. So let's give you a little history about cash. In 1933, right, our government, silver and gold, constitutional wise, is money, right? It's money. Now, a lot of people will argue that if silver and gold is money, why can't you take it to a store, right, for example, and purchase a loaf of bread or a gallon of gas? Well, I do want to inform you that there are currently 3 states that do accept silver and gold as legal tender, right? And I'm going to tell you why states stopped accepting gold as legal tender. The other states, 47 states, right? So you have Texas right now, Louisiana, and Utah that accepts silver and gold as legal tender. So if someone argues you that you cannot go to the store to purchase a loaf of bread or a gallon of gas with silver and gold, that's not true. Because if you live in Louisiana, Texas, or Utah, will eradicate that. So in 1933, however, silver and gold were the only, right? They were the only usage for legal tender. And still to this day, that you're saying good night and you saying what, really, wow. So just get out the live stream. Listen, people, if you have to go or do something, you don't have to announce it, right? Just go ahead, because I'm only live for the serious people. And in 2021, you're going to wish you knew this financial education or literacy, because it's going to be 2 classes of people come next year. It's not going to be 3 classes. No longer will be the middle class, the poor, and the rich and wealthy. It's going to be either rich and wealthy or poor. That's it. It's going to be 2 classes of people. And if you don't know the past, if you don't have a financial education, right, then you're going to get lost. Because the reason why I'm giving you this background history about gold and silver is because in 2021, we are about to, when I say we, I'm speaking of the United States, right, is going to have a currency reset. I'm going to show you proof. So Instagram, if you want to see the articles that I'm going to share, you can hop onto my YouTube, Queen of Credit, and you be able to see the articles that I'm going to back this with. And again, Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, right, came out with recent articles that's saying the dollar, dump the dollar, and that the dollar will lose 20% of its value next year in 2021. 20%. What does that mean? That means that your dollars will purchase less and less. And there's going to be a currency reset. This is why Bitcoin, let me see, because you all know that Bitcoin can change pricing. YouTube. You know, Bitcoin can change pricing in a matter of seconds. But the last time I logged on, Bitcoin was at 17,000, right? 17,000. And it's currently $17,667. So 1 Bitcoin right now, as of November 17th, equals $17,667. And there were a lot of people on, especially the YouTube forum that people follow and they love, and they, listen to these people, and they say, oh, you don't want to buy Bitcoin. The ride is over for Bitcoin. You don't want to invest in Bitcoin. You don't want to invest in cryptocurrency. The ride is over for that. Bitcoin did everything it's going to do in 2018. I beg to differ, right? I beg to differ. If you would have invested in Bitcoin as early as before the halving in March of this year, you would have received a 97% return on your investment. Up to date to November, 97%. And so, a lot of people on YouTube is telling people, I'll stay away from Bitcoin, buy my $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000, how to build a business in the kit product. Well, yeah, they didn't want you to invest in Bitcoin because they want you to send the $3,000 or $5,000, $10,000 to them, right? And so I'm going to show you why we're going to do a currency reset, right? And why you need to know the history of this. And so in 1933, right, in 1933, American citizens owned silver and gold, and it was used for legal tender, right? Silver and gold is money. It's not only God's money, right? It's money by the Constitution. It's the only money or the only thing that can pay a debt, right? So that's why you see now on the dollars that's printed today that this note is a legal tender for our debts, right? It's called a Federal Reserve note. A note is like an IOU, right? A note. And that your dollar can only discharge a debt. It can't pay a debt, right? Listen to the language. It can only discharge a debt. So in 1933, President Hoover declared that all American citizens had to turn in their gold, right? Or two options, and there were military personnel that escorted or that were armed as these people came to banks to turn in their gold, right? If they did not turn in their gold, the legal tender, they had either 10 years in jail or $10,000 fine or both. So the first question is, and this is a printout of what the dollar used to read. This is a gold certificate. It says in gold, right? It did not have, this debt is a legal tender. It had a seal, a gold sealed on it, had nothing about debt on it. This is a certificate, right? It says payable, payable to the receiver on demand. So this is what paper currency used to look like, right? And what it used to read. It doesn't read that today. Use the word pay, not discharge, right? And so they had to turn it, they were forced really to turn in all their all their gold, and they were giving or provided with the paper currency. Now, up to 1933, up to 1971, this was 100% backed by actual gold that the Federal Reserve banks, right? The Federal Reserve banks had in their vaults, right? However, normal people, consumers, Americans, right? Everyday people could no longer at this point take the printed dollars, right? And in return, get the physical gold. See, it was a point in time that if you, a $20 bill, gold certificate, you can turn this in to either the bank or whoever you were doing business with, and in return, you would get the money, which was a 20 ounce of gold, right? 20 ounce of gold. So 1933, 1971, American citizens could no longer do that. However, right, other countries could. So other countries that had the United States dollar could travel to the central bank in New York, right? And they could retrieve their physical gold. So it was still a foreign currency exchange. So the dollar was still connected to the gold standard, not just for the American citizens, but if other countries had the dollar, and actually in World War II, what happened was the United States was sending weaponry and things like that to Russia, right? And food and things like that for their war, World War II, to finance, help them fight their war to Russia. And in return, Russia was sending the United States gold, right? So Russia had US dollars. So at any time that they wanted to retrieve their gold or retrieve the gold, they could just bring the US dollars back to the United States. And they actually did this, right? I'm sorry, not Russia, but Spain. I'm sorry, Spain. They actually did this in World War II. They began to send warships to the United States and said, we want our money. We want the real money. We don't want this monopoly money. We don't want this printed money. We want our real money. Here's your dollars, right? Give us our gold. And so other countries got wind of this, or they heard this, and they began to retrieve their gold as well for US dollars. Well, the United States at that point or time was the largest country that held the physical money and the gold, right? They just confiscated it from its citizens, so they had that gold. And now gold used to be about 20 something dollars an ounce. Well, when they confiscated everyone's gold, the American citizens, they increased the price of gold to $35 an ounce. So they began to lose a lot of the gold reserves. And so in 1971, in order to keep his power in the real money, right, President Nixon made an announcement that the United States will remove the dollar from the gold standard, meaning that other countries could no longer bring back the dollars and get the money, the real gold, for it. So that put a stop to that, right? And so after this happened, the dollar now did not have a commodity. It did not have a value, anything other than the cotton it was used to create and the paper printer it was printed on. And so what it did was decided to negotiate with Saudi, I guess negotiate is the word, right? With Saudi Arabia to trade its oil, right? Or to only sell their oil for people that would buy and exchange it for them in US dollars, right? And so when Saddam Hussein decided that he wanted to change that and to start selling its oil in euros, well, we know the outcome of Saddam Hussein, right? And so now we keep Saudi Arabia's oil sold in exchange in US dollars, which now is called the petrodollar, right? Petrodollar. Just stay with me. I'm going to tell you why other countries and Goldman Sachs and Citigroup is predicting this to crash or to be a dump next year, and what real assets you need to have to repair, because this is, listen, people, this is going to be the greatest wealth transfer in history. And either you can use your credit to gain assets with it, or you're going to put yourself in a situation you're going to get poorer and poorer, right? So it became the petrodollar, right? It became known as the petrodollar because it was backed by Saudi Arabia's oil. Saddam Hussein could not sell it for euros. And again, you know his faith, right? No matter what we were told what happened to him happened, this is what happened. And so now in 2019, December 11, you can Google. That's why I say you're going to have to rewatch this. You can Google all this information. Saudi Arabia went public. You all see the oil crisis in the United States. You all see the 107,000 workers, right? 107,000 workers who have lost their jobs this year in the oil industry, right? You all see where oil is going. So December 11th, 2019, Saudi Arabia went public. A lot of people don't know what that means. I had someone to ask me on my Facebook page, well, we are allies to Saudi Arabia. That doesn't make our dollar lose any oil. No, when a company goes public, listen, it's an exit strategy. It's a way to get out of this investment. It was an exit strategy. So it's a way for them to get out of only accepting the US dollar as payment for its oil, right? Oil is also known as black gold, right? Oil, black gold. American oil public trades. And also, right? And also, Iran is now trading oil, not for the US dollar, people. Not for the US dollar, but for gold. Iran now. See, this is stuff you're not taught in school. This is stuff you're not taught in schools. This is stuff you're not taught in schools. And so that's why when I tell people you need to create a home-based business, stop getting taxed on this because it's depreciating. It's a depreciating asset, right? That's why I tell the Black and brown community, you're still picking cotton and making your master rich because dollar or cash is made up of 75% cotton. And your two masters now, your taxes and your debt. You get taxed anywhere from, if you are sole proprietor employee, 28 to 34%, which means you're only keeping about 60 to 70% of every dollar that you earn, no matter how much overtime you work, no matter how many second jobs you get. That's why people that have second jobs tell me they had to quit their second job because they end up having to pay back in taxes, actually, to the federal government. And so you are a slave, in essence, to the federal government, right? Because you don't know how to convert the dollar, which is the lowest yielding asset there is, into real assets. Or you don't know how to use your credit, right, to gain assets, right? For example, did you all know that debt is never taxed because it's not looked at as income? So when you take out a loan, right, to purchase an asset like an investment property or properties, if you're looking at a duplex or triplex or quadplex, you actually also get tax deductions. And you can have someone else, your tenant, to pay back that loan, and whatever that rent is, right, over the amount of the monthly payment of the loan is your positive cash flow. So you get the tax deduction for using debt instead of your cash to purchase the asset with, right? Because it'll take you longer to stack your cash to get the asset with because you're taxed at 28 to 34%. So now it's going to take you longer to work for that. And also you don't get the depreciating asset, right, in form of tax deductions, right? And so now back to the oil and gold, right? So Iran is now trading oil for gold. Now, Instagram, I'm going to sign off in a little while. I'm going to ask you all to hop onto my Facebook because I'm going to begin now to share some articles, right? Saudi is now setting up new asset, tourism, green energy projects. I'm going to show you out where the other countries are going. And if you want to be a part on the prosperity side of the wealth transfer, right, how you need to get out of bad debt, build your credit, and where this economy is headed, right? So you can be a part of the assets as well, right? So you can be a part of the assets as well. So now, hold on for 1 minute. Jesus, can you remove that link for me? Because I'm not talking on primary trade lines. So just take that link out for me. I don't want any links on this. I want people to be focused on what we're talking about. So, right, positive rental payment, positive cash flow. It's like zero taxes, right? It's like zero taxes. So now you have, I'm going to show you all of these countries, right, that have gotten their gold back from the United States. I told you that the Saudis went public December 11th. That's the breakaway from the dollar. And if all these countries are breaking away from the dollar, there should be no one, right, that is stating right now on YouTube that cash is king. Because I'm going to show you how that's the biggest myth, right, that you ever heard, right? So let's look at China first. Right now, I'm going to tell you this. China is the biggest the largest nation and its asset of holding gold. So gold, silver, and crypto and credit is going to be big in this wealth transfer. Coins, right? Gold, silver, crypto, and credit is going to be big in this wealth transfer. So I'm sharing an article. China brought gold for the 8 straight months. And just the latest sign that this nation is in the trade war for the long haul. So it's pretty much saying, hey, if we need to go to war because the United States may be upset that we are dumping the dollar, we don't want their dollar anymore, then we're going to have the backing to do that. So this article is August 7th, 2019. China brought nearly 10 tons of gold in July, bringing its reserve to 62.26 million ounces. Gold acts as a safe haven. Now, I always say gold acts as a safe haven. They never really tell you gold is money, right? Gold is real money, right? And so the purchase is another signal that China is preparing, listen for this, for a prolonged and escalated trade war with the United States. Now, it's saying trade war about taxes, but no, China is looking to be the powerhouse because China began to make deals and negotiations with Africa years ago because it knew that Africa is rich in gold and commodities, right? It began sending their men to Africa a long time years ago to marry the women so that legally they would have the men would then the China men would have possession of the land, right? And so also I want you all to note this, right? I said coins, gold and silver, crypto, and credit. Remember those 3 C's. I like alliterations and add another 4th, cash flow. Cash flow is big, right? Cash flow is big. And people, you're going to have the credit. I'm telling you, at some point, you run out of cash. You're going to have the credit to get these assets, right? To get these assets and to be a part of this wealth, the biggest wealth transfer in history. So this second article, Instagram, I'm going to read it to you because you can't see it, is headline, why are countries, listen at this, pulling their gold out of America? Why are countries pulling their gold out of America? People, see, in 1933, when President Hoover made Americans turn in their gold, 1933, a little known fact you all may not know, the United States went bankrupt, meaning we broke. We were broke. So we had to get the wealth and the money from the people. Because then people possessed the money and wealth because at that time they had the gold and the silver, not cash. So they had to confiscate it from the people. So it says in the past, nations around the globe has stored their gold at Federal Reserve Bank, listed of New York, for numerous reasons. I talked to you all about World War II. Germany confiscated as much gold as they could from nations they occupied, and they shipped it to the United States, right? After World War II, there was a threat of USSR to seize sovereign gold reserves under the Cold War. Now, Bretton Woods systems, right? Let me break that down from 1944 to 1971. The Bretton Woods system, it would agree that the US dollar would be the world reserve currency. Now, let me tell you about the Bretton Woods system, right? The Bretton Woods system, and I'm going to read this last line, again, was created between 1944 and 1971. See, it used to be that countries could bring back the US dollars and get 100%. So if they had a $20 bill or dollar, they could get a 20-ounce gold coin, right? Again, citizens couldn't, but other countries could. The Bretton Woods systems, once it implemented, it changed that ratio. So now the Federal Reserve, and a lot of people think the Federal Reserve is the government. No, they are not the government. Two separate entities. That's why President Trump talks about the Federal Reserve and what he wants the Fed to do, but he can't make them do. Government, Federal Reserve are not the same, right? They're not the same. And so under Bretton Woods agreement, now only 40%, not 100%, of the dollars, US dollars, was backed by gold. So now you have to have a $50 bill, right, to get a 20-ounce of gold. See, it was 100% back. You could have a $20 bill, get 20 ounce. You had $40, you get 40 ounce. Now the Bretton Woods agreements began in 1941 to 1971, said, okay, we're only going to give them 40%. The $50 bill, for example, 5 times 4 is 20, will give you a 20-ounce coin. So they stopped giving you 100% of it, right? That was the first step, where countries still continue to retrieve the money, the real gold. And so then in 1971, President Nixon just removed the dollar from the gold standard and said, we're not giving other countries our gold anymore, because they had already not taken it from the American citizens and were not giving it to the citizens. They decided we'll give the citizens the dollar and we'll create the dollar, because man cannot create gold or silver. And in order to keep them enslaved or living paycheck to paycheck or in poverty, we're going to put a tax on it. So we're going to make them pay us 20 to 30%, so they can only get 60 to 70%. And this is how we're going to separate the poor and the rich from the middle class. Because until then, the wealth equality throughout the United States was pretty much even, right? Because people own some form or type of gold, right? And gold and silver cannot be taxed. That's why if you purchase gold and silver now online, you have no taxes on it, because it's real money. So this article reads, Edmund Moe, former director of United States Mint, quoted June 13, 2014, finally more countries are repatriating their gold. For them, all it is not enough. They want their gold back. So you got all these countries, right, who now told America, we want our gold back. This is another article I'm going to share. Let me look at my comments. Thank you, Lee. I know I'm dropping. Look, I even had my gallon of water, my alkaline water, because I knew I was going to be talking and teaching a lot on this live stream. And why I have to really lay the foundation, because there's too many people chasing out the cash. Look, I know cash pays your bills, right? I know cash gives you groceries, but you're going to have to learn that once you get into out of bad debt is any time you're paying back the banks, right? Credit is any time you're using the bank's money to pay you. Let me say that again. Debt is anytime you are paying back the banks with interest. And I told you all earlier in this live stream that, credit cards, the bank is just created by putting numbers into the system. The banks don't actually loan you money, but they'll charge you interest on it. And that's why, right, credit cards are unsecured debt, meaning that you can discharge it in a bankruptcy. You can, pay less than you're owed, or the bank will just use it as a tax write-off if you don't pay the credit card back. But I'm telling people all the time that in this time, it is more beneficial to you to use cash back reward credit cards than cash. And this is why, people, right now in my home state, gas prices about a gallon is about $1.70, right? Would not surprise me that this time next year, gas prices be approximately $3.50 or more, right? Because the dollar is no more the petrol dollar. I got more articles. I have more articles, right? Russia and China. Let me share these articles. I just shared with you why other states are pulling their gold from America. So more states are pulling their gold, which means our dollar is going to purchase less and less, which means you're going to see increased pricing on your everyday goods and service, gas and groceries. If you don't have a cashback reward credit card, right, you're not going to beat the inflation is increased pricing, right, of goods and services. You're not going to be able to beat inflation. Now, this is where other countries are going. Not necessarily on oil, because we know United States of America, we can drill our own oil. We probably have enough oil, right, to last us 10 years. Don't necessarily need, the drilling of oils. We can drill our own oil to last us for maybe, 10 years or so, right? Or we have enough oil now without drilling is what I'm trying to say, probably to last us for 10 years. So this article reads, China, exactly on YouTube, decentralizing the Fed, correct. Minnesota, I can't pronounce that second part. Why is that? Listen, look at this. China and Russia are partners and now have, $55 billion pipeline to prove it. Now you might say, Queen, why is this a big deal? None of this was done with US dollars. None of it. A 1,800-mile pipeline is set to begin delivering Russian natural gas and solar energy, people, into 2021. This is why we're in an oil crisis. This is why this pandemic came. You all know that the United States was in bad financial status before this pandemic came, right? But in order to, blind the American people, they created something, right? So you all can think this is why the economy. Now, this is real reason why why we're in this situation. And people are losing jobs, and people are begging for stimulus, and people are standing in food lines, and people might not be able to afford food when we have these food shortages and pricing increases, right? It's rumored that earlier this year, truckers was going on strike because they want a higher pay raise, and all of this. And then farmers was losing their crops due to the C word and all this type stuff, right, that they come up with. But Russia and China, 55 billion with the B, a natural gas, 1,800-mile pipeline. None of this was done with US dollar, right? A new era of cooperation between two world powers. Listen, the article is saying, I'm showing it on my YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope, that have separately challenged the United States. People, the dollar is in trouble. And if the dollar is in trouble, what does that mean, Queen? That means price is going to increase. We're going to deal with inflation, possibly hyperinflation, where it's high unemployment and high pricing. The Great Depression 2.0. Exactly, Minnesota, on YouTube. Wait a minute. That means America's going to have a different currency. Did you all know that the longest time frame that any currency has lasted, paper currency, because for 5,000 years, gold has always been real money. It's always stood the test of time. Is 30 to 40 years. So when the dollar was removed from being backed by debt in 1971 up to 2021 makes 50 years. The dollar has lasted a long time, right? A long time than compared to other paper currency, but no paper currency has lasted. Let me, because I'm more teaching, show you this article about Zimbabwe printed paper currency. Hyperinflation happened here. Zimbabwe multi-currency reality. Listen, look at this article, and I know you can't see this on Instagram, but I'm showing it on my YouTube, Facebook, Periscope. Bitcoin in Africa, right? It's showing right here. Bitcoin currently is $17,746 right now. Right? Ethereum is 485. They're saying Bitcoin is king, Ethereum is queen, Bitcoin is gold, Ethereum is silver, and you even got XRP and Chainlink with big returns. XRP is at 30 cents, right? 3.2% increase, in Chainlink 8.2% just today, right? And so now you got Africa, you got Akon bring his crypto, and that's why a lot of people ask, or some people on Facebook say, "Hey, I thought you said that blacks or brown African Americans couldn't get the C word." Well, until when Africa didn't have 5G, they didn't have a problem with it. But now Africa's getting Bitcoin, it's getting Akon, it's getting Crypto City. They have to have that technology and 5G. So yes, when people are malnutrition and they're not healthy, and you bring in that high radiation, right? That high radiation, you're going to get sick. The body is going to get sick, right? Miss Tamara said, yes, my Sears Shop Your Way card just offered me 15%. Wow, that's awesome. 15% cash back on gas, groceries, and restaurant, right? A totally different. I think they already have the Fed coin, right? And Jerome Powell, head of the Feds, last Thursday, already announced that we are going to have to go digital, right? New technology. Donna, you can go. I do have silver will give you a greater rate of return than gold. So you can definitely go to my website, Fix My Credit, www. Even if you need credit help, fix mycreditandcash.com and get the silver stacking report. And this report will also give you the websites to buy that silver from. You can also buy gold from them as well. So $35. I have on my website, my YouTube is Queen of Credit. You can hop on YouTube now and you can see everything that I'm showing or discussing in the backdrop. JP Morgan purchased 350 million ounces of physical silver to prepare for this recession, right? So my silver stacking report gives you 10 physical coins and 7 mining stocks, right? My number 5 coin on this list will bring you a 300% return on your investment, right? And at the time of this report, the top 3 stocks provided a 28.39% dividend, 12%, and 12% dividend, right? So you also want the silver that you buy, that you don't have to report it when it's sold to dealers for capital gains. You legally don't have to report it to the IRS. So this report provides all of this. Can I post this live? Well, I'm live on IG now. I'm also live on my YouTube and my personal Facebook and my Periscope. All is Queen is Credit. So let me share this screen again about Bitcoin in Africa. And thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. I appreciate that. Sugar Plum, isn't that a cute profile name? Sugar Plum. Thank you so much, Sugar Plum 13. Thank you, Jesus. When change something like currency, you must slow down the dollar velocity. Yes, pause the economy. You know, tell people we got to have national lockdowns to stop the C word. You know, and so that's why the economy has to be paused. Listen, Phil, I want you all to ask yourself this question. Usually, he was on my IG, glad you found me. Twins Inc. Usually the government happily distributes money around holiday time, right? Because they want people to spend it on TV, food, shopping, in order to give it back to the government, into the economy. Just give it back to the government, right? Have you ever asked yourself why we haven't got approved for that second stimulus yet? Why wouldn't the government be wanting to get our money back and spend it to boost the economy? They're not even trying to boost it around the holiday time, people. Not even trying to boost the economy for the holidays. Not even trying to. Right? But as the national debt, I think the second stimulus will come maybe around February of next year, 2021. And as the national debt increases, we're at, let me look at the US debt clock. I think 27 trillion. It's been a while since I looked at the US national debt clock. Yeah, 27 trillion. And for every, let's look at the dollar to oil ratio and the dollar to silver ratio, the dollar to gold ratio. Going to share this with you on the US debt clock. It is currently, you won't believe this, $4,303 per ounce to the dollar to silver ratio. When I started teaching about the US debt clock, I think this was at $1,000 this year, right? It's now at 4,000. So for every dollar printed, right, per ounce, the ratio is 4,000 for silver, $4,303. For every dollar printed for gold ratio, it's 32 for every $1. $32,798 per ounce of gold. In 1913, it was $29.15 for dollar to gold ratio, right? And for silver in 1913 was $2.64. And the reason why they give the date of 1913 because the federal government, the feds, was not created at this time, right? So let's get back to crypto, hyperinflation, and Zimbabwe's dollar, right? Right, they're not pushing us to spend. Black Friday, shops used to get in debt. They're not even trying to stimulate the economy. Not giving you our money to just do all the wrong things you did with it the first time you got that $600 unemployment. A lot of people went out and bought seafood and big screen televisions, and And now another thing, schools are shutting down, states are shutting down. Michigan begins tomorrow, 3 weeks. No colleges, schools, and all that. Parents now got to feed their kids, right? They were getting 2 meals a day in public schools. Now parents have to feed their kids at home. That's more expenses, right? And run their utilities 24/7 now, right? Schools are closing down for weeks at a time, whereas they could get an 8-hour time frame in which the schools were doing this. So you got the hyperinflation, the Zimbabwe dollar or currency crash, right? And so in the second part, it's talking about Bitcoin in Africa. And let me share this with you all as well. China, right? I shared with you earlier that China has accumulated more gold, more money than the United States. China now also mines 65% of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. And so, we talk about Wuhan and the virus breakout and, things like that. But however, this is where the first round of the 5G technology was first exposed. And people there got sick. That's why it derived from China. China mines 65%. They have 65% of the Bitcoin mining. So China and Russia is the financial powerhouse right now. Right? Right. Thank you, Jesus. He says, please hit the like button so others can reach this important information. CC Rose says, true, my kids' teachers are doing deliveries of school supplies. Wow, because the office has been closed. If they were so concerned about the virus, why would they put teachers out there to deliver at homes? That's kind of unsafe. And it's supposed to be able to stay on surfaces and you transmit it. But I get what you're saying. So now we look at Goldman Sachs, right? That's a part of the federal government system as well. Federal Reserve Bank says to dump the dollar. Now, this is not the queen of credit telling you this. I'm not saying that cash is trash, but just telling you the biggest bank. Goldman Sachs says dump the dollar and do what, people? Buy silver, right? Buy silver. That's what Goldman Sachs is saying. That's why I started telling you all you need to get the silver stack and report on my website for $35 because your greatest return on your investment. And guess what? You can buy silver and gold with credit cards. This is how you convert credit into cash flow and convert credit into wealth. Now, silver and gold will be more of appreciation than cash flow, but it's an asset because it's what? It's real money. And when this currency system resets, it's going to be a part of the accounting system to reset the currency. It has to be because it's money. Sugar Plum says China also signed a big trade deal with other countries. Yes, I was just saying this. And China and Russia just did a natural gas deal. United States not included. They did not use the United States dollar, right? 55 billion, Sugar Plum. Goldman Sachs says to dump the dollar and buy silver. This was October the 14th, just last month, 2020. Sell dollars and buy silver. This is Goldman Sachs' recommendation. But you all be on everybody else, live stream. They have 200 or 300 people on there. They telling you, I did $1 million. I'm doing 6 figures in my business. Don't buy Bitcoin, don't buy gold and silver, as Dave Ramsey would say, but buy my products. And I don't like you using, I hate credit cards, but to buy my products, I will accept your credit card payment. Isn't that a little bit hypocrisy? If you were so rattled about the credit card debt that Americans are in, you would definitely not accept payment for them to buy your products, would you? And all credit card unpaid debt is cash in circulation, right? When the Federal Reserve is printing money to infinity and beyond, in which we are 27 trillion, it will be used to, right, gold and silver reset. I'm just giving you all assets tonight, and you can use your credit. Let's look at Citigroup. This Goldman Sachs says dump the dollar. Citigroup says, and listen, I just watched a video. This young man said he bought a $500,000 house when Bitcoin hit in 2018 with 29 Bitcoins, right? And there are people, again, I told you, Google this, do your own research for yourself. Texas, Louisiana, Utah uses gold and silver as legal tender. You can have actual gold and silver because it's money, right? It is money. Counterproof, I have been stacking pre-1965 U.S. quarters. Yes, junk silver is good as well. And dimes, you still find them in regular China. Oh, and I'm glad you brought that up, Counterproof. That's why we had the also quote-unquote coin shortage, right? Because even though the coins we have today is not made up of the exact amount of silver and copper that it used to be, there is still some silver and copper in our coins today, right? So now that's why the quote-unquote coin shortage. And also, stores want to stop accepting cash to get people ready for this digital transfer, to get your mindset already ready to be a cashless society in the future, right? A cashless society. So this is Citigroup's article, says that the dollar may drop 20%. This is Citigroup that I'm sharing. I think I'm sharing. Hold on, let me get this article. I'm reading something now. Trump just fired somebody else. Cyber official who challenged Fauci election claim. Well, Trump, he can definitely say you're fired, right? The Apprentice, he's a great actor. That's why I tell people all the time. He's a great actor. They picked the right person to act out, to be a distraction, so you all won't be focused on the collapse of the economy. People stopped asking for stimulus checks behind this election. People temporarily forgot about unemployment. They forgot they didn't have a job, right? They forgot about C word, right? Because they got the best distractor they can to provide you a great acting, right, show to get your attention and to distract you and break your focus. All right, so I'm sharing an article on Instagram on my other platform. Citigroup says, this is November the 16th, people, yesterday, newly 2020. The dollar may drop by 20% next year on vaccines. The dollar is likely to begin to drop as much as 20% in 2021. That means your dollar is going to, prices are skyrocketing and your dollar is going to be able to buy less. However, as the dollar depreciates, gold and silver is going to skyrocket, and so will cryptocurrency, right? As much as 20% because of the vaccine to help relieve global trade, economic growth, according to Citigroup. The vaccine distribution will be on check out all of our bear market, and according to the Bloomberg Dollar Index, listen, which has fallen about 11% since March. This vaccine clinical trial, they said they got a new vaccine with Moderna yesterday. And so, yep. Now, given this setup, the potential for the dollar loss is already front loaded with the currency, lowering sooner than what they originally planned. Now, let me share this other thing to let you know that our gold reserves is getting low in the United States. Florida, right? Florida, Miss Tim, yeah, save your change. Just never know. Save your change. Florida found a treasure from Spain for $4.5 million. It is stated that Spain, I'm giving you all some real in-depth information tonight. And I'm also show you how Germany got its gold back from the United States too, as well. Florida treasure hunters found 4.5 million in rare Spanish coins. The salvage team discovers 300 gold coins in the area where 3 gallons were sunk. Listen at this, people. These countries are getting their gold back. They're getting their oil back. They're getting their rice back. They're trading oil now. Saddam Hussein was successful with it. He wanted to sell oil in euros, but now Russia and China has $55 billion partnership with natural gas. Iran is trading their oil for gold. They don't want the dollar. It's gone. Other countries don't want it. Only people that want it is United States, because we don't know what the real assets is. And you don't know, how many people have never held money in their hand because they never held gold and silver. Silver is about what, $30 an ounce? Very affordable. Very affordable, right? So this was 300 years ago. Florida treasure hunters found a trove of 4.5 million worth of Spanish gold coins 300 years ago to the day after a fleet of ships sunk in a hurricane while en route from Havana to Spain. The salvage owner says the 350 coins found on July 30th include 9 rare pieces known as Royal 8 escudos, which were being transported to the King of Spain. His company of 1715 fleet, Queen Jules, owned the right to the wreckage, right? The gold, as William Bartlett, 51, said the gold looked like it fell in the water yesterday, right? So on 1715, a hurricane tossed 11 treasure Spanish fleet off of Florida's coast, sinking them early. And look at this. And they got their gold back. The courts finally ruled, after all these years, for Spain to get their gold back. Let me show this as well. Germany get its gold back from the United States. I'm telling you, all these other countries says we want our money. We want our money back. Germany wants its gold back from the United States. This happened, people, in 2013. Let me share this with you. Thank you so much for that super chat. I'm so busy reading the articles, right? Thank you so much, Gwen, for that super chat. Your $10 super chat. Thank you, Queen. Germany $31 billion in gold from Paris and New York. Bank Reserve in New York. Germany's got its gold back. People, we're broke. United States, again, we're broke in 1933. We're bankrupt. That's what's called the Great Depression. We're broke now. These other countries getting their gold back. The country's central bank announced Wednesday it has completed the program gold bars worth 31 billion from its storage locations in New York. And I really wonder why, is this why a lot of the reason why New York is shrinking in poverty and people are leaving New York, and it's also increasing its poverty rate as well, right? I'm just saying the Federal Reserve is central bank is located in New York. Germany has been bringing in gold from the two cities since 2013. Listen, the final 100 tons was moved from Paris earlier this year to central banks. In total, 743 has been transferred. This project was completed 3 years ahead of schedule. So people, China has more gold than the United States, right? Accumulated. The real wealth. Germany got its gold back. Saudi Arabia, Russia, and China is going to our natural gas, right? We're going to have to go to our natural gas and solar energy too to 2021 and a different currency. This is why this 5G Wi-Fi had to be released. This is why they AI, artificial intelligence, jobs. You got self-driving trucks, robots that will be cooking foods, taking the job of humans. You got to have a stronger Wi-Fi there, even looking at 6G. And this is why Bill Gates is involved in all this, right? The king of IT and technology, right? He knows what this is going to do for him as far as the wealth transfer. And since this has happened, people, over 600 billionaires have gotten richer, right? Clean energy, right? Clean energy. Now, me, personally, if I was a stock person, which I'm not, definitely any energy stocks, natural gas, let me look at it. Anything dealing with the vaccine, people sitting at home, depression, got your marijuana stocks, things like that. I got out of stocks. I just didn't want to do it anymore. Didn't really want to just sit on my phone and trade. I shifted everything for crypto. That's just me personally. I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do. The stock market just went for me, right? I earned 90% just letting my money just sit, 97% return just from letting it sit in Bitcoin from May until now. That's what I need, because you also know I do credit consulting, so I can't be on my phone or laptop watching the stock market to see when I need to trade, dip in and dip out. That works for me, but if that's your area of expertise and that's how you get cash flow and passive income, then that's your niche. You continue to do that, right? However, everything's going electric. Martin, I think you work in the automobile manufacturing industry. Pretty sure you all are already doing electric vehicles, natural gas, solar energy, like Silicon Valley, went solar, replace jobs, right? Replace manufacturing jobs, replace laboring jobs, right? With solar energy technology. This is where it's headed, right? It is so obvious. It is obvious to the people that's tune in and join on the live stream. But it's so many people not aware, because so many people don't want the financial education, right? They still want to chase this paper con, which is depreciating in value. It's going to purchase less. And let me tell you something, people. I don't know if you want to go with the physical assets or digital assets. you're not going to go wrong with the coins, gold, silver, or crypto, right? I'm not going to tell you my crypto portfolio because, again, I'm not a financial advisor and I don't want to give financial advice. But I will say this, you're not going to go wrong with those because we are entering a reset, a currency. We have no choice. We have no choice. Our gold supply in the United States, right, is ending. We're not backed by the petrodollar anymore. The oil is not there. Have to go solar, have to go digital. Actually, I think we are actually at the mercy of China. They do 65% of the Bitcoin mining. They own more the gold that we do, right? And they are the technological country. And again, they've made a big power move with Russia to add that $55 billion in natural gas, right? And it's not in US dollars, right? And so when you got all of this going on and you have people in the oil rigs that for years it's all they done, right? And they're making six figures a year. You just can hope that they can make the switch to solar energy, right? When that's done and everything. And so for you all, am I saying that cash is trash? No, it's not, because if you need it right now, it's still used to pay your bills, right? It still needs to pay your bills. But if you are a person that wants to invest, you have to know the past so you can know the trends of the future. And you're going to have to know that if you're stacking this is why Robert Kiyosaki says, save. Why would you save this when they print it? Why would you save something they print? It's all about supply and demand. The more a product or something is distributed, right, the less it's worth. Gold and silver is God money. It's real money. It's not man-made. It's on a limited supply. As Bitcoin in the crypto, there is only a limited supply. I came to you out earlier this year, told you about the halving. They're going to limit the amount that's available. And the more things are limited, right, the more valuable it is. So with that being said, I'm wrapping up. It's been an hour. I do want to close and tell you that FICO 10, the second phase, is expected to come into play December, the end of this year. That's why many people are already seeing changes on Credit Karma and Advantage scores. Some weird things going on if you monitor your credit right now, right? I just got a notification, for example, for Credit Karma that a U.S. Department of Education student loan account was just being dropped from my credit report. I don't know why. It's been on there a long time, right? But the algorithm is changing. Just know your Vantage score, which is what Credit Karma, is not what the banks use, right? You need your FICO, true FICO score, FICO. You can use that for tax deductions and to create more cash flow. Borrow money to get paid, not to pay out, right? Now, some people are going to just need their personal credit because their states are going broker. People from New York, California is expensive, are moving to least expensive states like Texas, like Florida, and moving to states where these AI, IT tech job opportunities are going to be more available. Also, if you're looking to invest in real estate, you need to do your research and due diligence of what states are going to have more of the job opportunities, right? It may not be in your state. You may have to look outside of your state area, right? Phoenix, Arizona, for example, is a state that's experiencing expeditious growth, great growth. But Detroit, Michigan, unfortunately, is not. And a lot of times, I know Dr. Cloud Anderson, for example, he tried to work with the Black and brown community in Detroit, right, to become more owners and, to buy more of the property. But a lot of the jobs are losing Detroit. So even if you find a good rental property at a good price, right? You have to see if there are no jobs there, then is that a good state and city to rent in, right? So I think I covered everything that I need to cover. If not, I'll just do it again. But I know I probably, I just wanted to get this out the way to give you all a breakdown where we are headed and how credit, coins, and crypto can help you be a part of the biggest wealth transfer that ever happened in our lifetime, right? No more prominent middle class. It's going to be two classes. Either you're going to be rich or poor, right? Time out for using your credit to get liabilities. It's just time out for that. It's just time out for that. Time out for wanting the shiny new car that depreciates in value, right? Get you something pre-used at 1.9% interest rate, and that's at market value. Other than that, you're just throwing money away. If you have a job and you're not part of my home-based business, go to my website, fixmycreditandcash.com. I have more information about the home-based business. I looked at my paycheck profile, direct deposit, because I got a letter from my retirement, right? I tell you, system today. I told you I teach in the public school system. And I looked at the balance of my retirement. I was like, I won't be able to retire off this. I've been working for 15 years. 10 more years in the public school, I can retire at the full retirement benefits. And 10 more years, which I still be, young in age, I think. And I'm looking at the breakdown of federal taxes, state taxes, FICA, come out my paycheck, retirement. My retirement year to date and what the balance is in my retirement account is, I'm like, you taking all this money from me, and I've been working 15 years, but what my balance show is not adding up to what you're taking out of my paycheck, right? So taking out my paycheck, I have no say so in that. I have the lowest federal tax rate coming out of my paycheck because I add the home-based business to it to keep more of my money, right? And then I have my other insurances that come out. Got my disability. I decided to get cancer. They even have two types of cancer, pre and post cancer, right? My medical insurance, my health insurance. Then I got some term insurance. I said, well, it's cheap. And look at all these things that's eating out your paycheck, people. So the one thing that you can control is what insurances you decide, how much you want, and your federal taxes, because the rich pay less in taxes legally. Home-based business, you get $475 tax deduction. An employee, you only get 15. The rich buy assets. The middle class buy liabilities. The rich buy assets that can pay for their cars, for example. The poor people pay for their cars with cash out of their paycheck. So you're getting the depreciating liability and you're getting taxed at the highest, which means you got to work harder now to make your note, right? Stop trying to look rich and be rich. I've already set a goal for myself. I said, look, I'm not buying another vehicle. I'm keeping the 3 I have up best I can, tip-top shape, until I get this much in assets, until I get me some more real estate investments. That's just where I'm at. Until I invest the maximum that I want to invest in my cryptocurrency. I'm not buying another vehicle. The 3 I have is doing me fine. It's not that important, right? It's really not that important. So Yeah, the sad part is it's only getting worse from here. It's only getting worse from here. And you know what I thought about today? Martin put in the comments that we're having credit church. And I thought today that, people in the church, if they really want to learn the biblical principles for prosperity, they will learn more from reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki than they would in most of their everyday church attendance. They will learn more about biblical principles for finance, for finance, money management, and prosperity from Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right, than they would from regular church attendance. More biblical principles from that book than they would get from the church. All right, so I'm signing out, but let me read these last comments. It seems like we are going back to bartering, collective, and sharing economics. No, well, it won't be sharing economics. It's going to be the poor and the rich. Yep, the poor and the rich. I am new to this, but I have a financial plan plus 5 figures in my savings. If you have cash, 5 figures in your saving, you're losing money because I'm pretty sure you're not getting any interest rate. And if you are getting interest rate, is it beating the price of prosperity? I mean, inflation. I'm sorry. Inflation. Inflation is the rising, the silent tax, the rising pricing on your everyday goods and services. So, for example, if you have money in the bank and you're getting 0.8%, right, cash, that's the lowest yield of asset. And inflation on prices is averaging 2.5 to 3.5%. Then your money is losing money because your dollar is losing its purchasing power. By just, I own my car thanks to Santander, and I moved back home to pay off rent. Okay, so you have 5 figures in your savings, and you move back home. Okay. All right. Facts. Welcome, Wordy. Say amen. Wordy says, I want to use the habit of building and savings to build back my credit. Wait a minute, Wordy. You have 5 figures in savings. And you have bad credit. So if inflation is not destroying your money that you have in your savings, your bad credit score will. Because I know Santander lends to subprime lenders, meaning that people that have a 680 credit score below, those are people that get loans from Santander. That means you're paying the bank back on that loan for that vehicle. Probably double interest. I've seen people pay as much as 25% interest on a vehicle. They'll be paying that vehicle back 7 to 8 years if they ever pay it off. Okay, I got you. So the plan is to save 5 figures over the next 8 months. Okay, well, that'll work. Holy Rod says, should I trade my vehicle? I owe $13K. Still, should I switch it and downsize it maybe to $11K? That's only $2,000. What's your blue book value of the vehicle? What's the mileage on it? What's the maintenance condition? That's just not a yes or no question. How much longer life do you think the vehicle will provide to you? What would be the trade-in value? And if you're getting something that costs less, right, then trade-in value may not be that much. And will the vehicle that you're trading in for be a more dependable, longer life vehicle? That's just a lot of it. Wordy says, I got the car title from selling me, so I owe nothing on the car. Congratulations, Wordy, and definitely get that credit up. Use your credit to get assets, right? And to get out of bad debt, right? To get out of bad debt. So, billionaire Saul got a 637 Billionaires saw their net worth increase by $500 billion during this pandemic. This article was released by Business Insider October 30, 2020. 40 million Americans filed for unemployment during the pandemic, but billionaires saw their net worth increase by $500 billion. This isn't the first time billionaires have seen their gains while others dealt with loss, and tends to tie back to two things. First, the government disappropriated, give more aid to larger companies. Then when the stock market bounces back, the Fed pumps money to the stock market. The unequal bailouts mean that the wealthy still have money on their hands to invest, while the middle and lower classes do not. Another thing I talked to you all about, wealthy-friendly tax laws and loopholes, right? I always have a home-based business, a part of your paycheck. You want to know the home-based business I'm connected with, go to my website, fixmycreditandcash.com. Then keep those billionaires at top. Knowing all of this, some of them are advocating for politics to help level the playing field and create change. Meanwhile, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Another article says it's not just Apple. The ultra complicated tax measures that Microsoft uses to avoid, listen at this, avoid $2.4 billion in taxes. Microsoft, Bill Gates. $2.4 billion. And I got some people tripping they're saying Donald Trump only paid $700 a year. He paid something. Jeff Bezos got a $1.27 million refund, paid zero in federal taxes. And you all think you're coming up by getting an $8,000 or $10,000 tax return with 5 kids and illegally doing your taxes, claiming illegal kids, and you all think you're coming up. These people are getting millions back. Big businesses. Taxes. You have to change your birth name, your common name, to a corporation, people, and your social security into an EIN, and build your personal credit so you can start building business credit. I shared a video how Robert and Kim Kiyosaki bought their first investment properties with credit cards. Credit cards. What do you buy with credit cards? High profile, Louis Vuitton clothing, vacations, shopping sprees, Christmas lights, Thanksgiving decorations. See, that's what the middle class use credit cards for. That's not what the rich and wealthy do. Right? You're welcome. Question, why don't people take business of their home-based business and more money for themselves? Eric, who got $1,400 into this home-based business, mostly because they don't have a financial education. They don't understand. Eric increased his take home, no promotion, no extra hours, $1,400 a month during this pandemic in his household by partnership with me in the home-based business and having IRS certified, right, professionals adjust his paycheck legally to add the business tax deductions to it. See, everybody want business credit. They don't understand the power of business credit and business tax deductions. They don't know that, right? And so a lot of times people don't know what they don't know. And they bring home 60 to 70 cents on the dollar. Make all you can, but get a financial education so you won't be hustling backwards, right? Again, cash is made of 75% cotton. Stop being an economic slave and picking cotton. Learn how to convert cash into assets. Hey, I'm signing off. Thank you all so much that took the time to hit the thumbs up and listen. I hope this is great financial advice for you moving forward to 2021, because all of us know 2020 has been a roller coaster ride. But guess what? We still got a whole lot of more ups and downs to go. This is just the beginning, right? This is just the beginning. 2021 may look 2020 look like a cupcake, you know. Let's see. Let's get prepared, right? One thing you can't do if you're drowning, when you're swimming, is panic. You have to plan and prepare. And I'm giving you the information to do that, right? Right. Just like Bitcoin is decentralized. A home-based business is decentralized society. It's taking the feds out of your paycheck, right? Taking the feds out of your paycheck. You got to know the power again. Yeah, thank you, Mark. A business credit and business tax deduction. So you're so welcome. Eric got $1,400 more out of his paycheck, right? No promotion or overtime. So I'm signing out. Here's to your health and your wealth, your peace and your prosperity, your credit and your cash flow, crypto and your coins. Get it up for 2021 and you'll be a part of the greatest wealth transfer that this generation has ever experienced. You all have a great night.